So do you want to tell us what Close Knit is about?
Well, it's really about women raised by women, really. So it's a community of knitters. My mother was a peripatetic knitting teacher, so she'd go into all the primary schools and teach kids to sew and knit. But there's nobody, I don't think, ever been more famous than my mother was. Right. If you live in a small town and you go into all the primary schools, every single generation of children knows you. I know, she couldn't walk down the high street. So she was a big knitter. My grandma's a big knitter. You know, I just come from that family where they just kind of make a lot of stuff, and I whinged endlessly about itchy jumpers and so on. So I wanted to write about that, about families where there's not a lot of men and they're raised by women, and Gertie, who's our heroine. Gertie's one of these names, right, which I secretly really like, but wouldn't put on one of my own children. So it's quite useful to put it on a character. And so she has to break out of this. And then kind of running with it is there's a guy that she had a crush on in school. Because you know what? The older I get, the more you think you're going to get away from things that you felt as a teenager or things you felt. And actually, it's so interesting. I couldn't tell you a single thing I was doing between the ages of 35 and 45, having children. But I can't remember a thing about it. Yeah. But I remember the socks of the girl I sat next to in history in second year of school. It's amazing. And I watch my children now because they're just leaving school. And, you know, I'm just like, these experiences they run so deep.
Yes.
It's why you're so anxious to go, oh, yeah, go on the day out. Or, you know, you're just so anxious for them to be good because, you know, they don't know. They think everything will be as vivid as it is now. You know, like going to a really horrible festival and having to wait for 4 hours in the mud to get in is brilliant if you're 17, you know. Yeah. And it's interesting now going, that's it. You know, it's going to stay with you. So I wanted to bring in that really strong feeling of having a crush on someone who just does not know you're alive. Yeah. And it's funny because I think everybody can think of someone immediately.
Yes. Yeah, I know it is very evocative. What I liked about this as well, often like people write about school days and, you know, the people who were mean to them or they thought were mean to them or bullying them or whatever, and then they still carry that on into adulthood. And this has a really, really nice element to where she meets some girls from school who are now obviously women and thought they didn't like her, but they didn't really not like her, and they've changed anyway, and they're different people. And I think that's so nice because it's so obvious. It's so, you know, so often you get people go, oh, I'm going to get back at my bullies, and this is more like, oh no, you misunderstood. We
literally no idea who you are.
we don't remember that. So and I think that's really lovely. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot less about knitting than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be mainly knitting-based drama.
Yes, I feel we possibly made an error with the title there. Although, because people have been turning up to readings and stuff with their knitting, including some people who they were knitting some bunting, and they gave me some needles to use on stage and to knit and answer questions. It turns out it's really difficult. And also a group of knitters knitted me a bicycle, the kind of whole knitted bicycle, and it was amazing. And we took lots of photos, and it went on the cover of the American edition. And then there's some literary museum somewhere. That sounds ridiculous, like I'm in the literary museum. It's probably a knitting museum now I think about it. Some museum said, we'll take it as the Close Knit bicycle. And we were so delighted, and it was lovely. And then we got a message about a month later from the owner of the original bicycle saying, can I have my bike back? I don't know, they just knitted over somebody's actual bike.
Oh no.
So that's a bit awkward.